And now, here's your host, Archie Campbell.
She was raised on country sunshine in McMinnville, Tennessee, and went on to become one of country music's most popular stars. Winner of the entertainment industry's top awards, including a Grammy, she's enjoyed a career that spanned over 20 years, and we'll meet that lady right after this.
I was born a country girl.
Commercial.
Well, all right, let's do it.
Okay.
I was raised on country sunshine. No, we've already done that one, huh?
Dottie, I still say you are, once I want to repeat this. Used to, you'd come in the office and Chet and I'd be in there, you know, I ran around with him a lot. He'd say, there goes a real lady. You never did know.
Oh, he said some of the nicest things.
You never did know he said that, did you? He always said that. He said, there goes a real lady.
Oh, that is such a nice thing to hear. Thank you.
Are you really a country
much.
girl, or are you just...
Am I country?
Yeah.
Hey, Dolly Parton and I used to argue which one was the countryest. You see, she's from Sevierville and I'm from McMinnville now. There's not a lot of difference. Not very many miles, you know. And there was 10 of us, and I've forgotten how many's in Dolly's family, isn't it?
Oh, at least 10.
10 or more, I think.
They forgot what caused them up there. Long time ago.
I think my mom and dad did. Well, anyway, I know there was 10 of us anyway. And one night backstage, if you want to hear a story.
Yeah.
You want to hear it now?
Yes,
okay.
I do
Right
right
at the top
now.
of the show, okay. Well, Dolly and I were backstage and at the Opry, you know, waiting for our turn to go on and sing. And this was at the Ryman Auditorium. And so we're back there and she says, I'm country and you are? And I said, no, you ain't. She says, yes, I am too. And I said, no, you ain't either. She said, so we went on with some country sayings, and she says, did you ever look the beans? And I said, of course I've looked the beans. And everybody that's country knows what I'm talking about, you know. And I said, yeah, I've looked the beans. And she said, well, did you have kilt lettuce? And I said, kilt? And she really got me. I could not remember ever having kilt lettuce. Have you ever had kilt lettuce, Archie?
Chit lettuce.
No, don't say that on TV.
Oh.
Kilt lettuce.
Kilt lettuce.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know what that is.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, my mom always called it wilted lettuce.
Yeah.
Because Dolly had to explain it to me that you take bacon drippings and you pour it over.
Real hot stuff.
Yeah, pour it over the
wilts
lettuce, and it wilts the lettuce. We always call it. But she said it was kilt lettuce, so she thinks she's country and I am. Yes, I'm a country girl, and I was born and raised on a farm outside of McMinnville, Tennessee, a little place called Frog Pond.
Frog Pond.
Yeah. That's the truth. And the first song I ever wrote was when I was 11 years old, and it's called the Frog Pond Boogie. And if I'd have brought my guitar, I would have sang it for you today.
We'll do a little bit. I'll pat my hands. That Frog Pond.
It's the Frog Pond Boogie. That's all I remember.
Oh, well, that's enough then.
That was enough of that. That's what I meant.
A lot of your songs, though, were written about being a country girl and all that sort of thing.
About me, yeah. But I tell you, you know, Archie, I never liked to really remember the hard-working times, you know. I mean, like, I've picked the cotton and I've stripped the cane and made molasses, and we did all that. That was Warren County, Tennessee, the sorghum capital, I guess, you know. And I really worked hard on the farm until I was 14 and we moved into the big city of McMinnville. But I am a country girl. Oh, yes. And I still have a garden. I live out in the country now.
When you were a little girl, though, were you a country music fan?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. We had this, now this is not that long ago, but we had a great big radio about this tall. And I used to listen to you from Knoxville.
Oh, really?
Midday merry-go-round.
Midday merry-go-round, that's right. Yeah.
And anyway, oh yes, I listened to the Grand Ole Opry, and on Saturday nights, you know, they literally my mom would roll the rug back, and the neighbors would come over because we were the ones in the neighborhood that had the radio. And really, and they would roll the rug back and they would square dance, and every now and then I'd get to, you know, I finally got old enough, they'd let me dance, but I'd sit there with that radio and listen. Sure.
I know a lot of things you did. Of course, you went to Tennessee Tech.
Don't tell everything.
No.
Oh, thank you.
Tennessee Tech, you went to college at Tennessee Tech in Cookeville, which is not too far from McMinnville.
45 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's after you moved to McMinnville. Did you go to Tech when you lived in McMinnville?
Yeah, I went to high school in McMinnville.
How come you go to Tech?
I You don't go from McMinnville straight to the Grand Ole Opry.
No.
No. It just didn't work that way. I wanted to. I'd get to go every now and then if I picked enough blackberries to sell, and after Mom had canned and made jellies and jams and all that, and then we'd get to sell blackberries that we'd pick, you know, and buy tickets to go to the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh, really?
The truth. That's the truth, really. So I'd get to go as a kid.
How did you get to Nashville? Did you...
Mr. Ed Morgan had a great big truck. Now, I don't tell this story very often, if I ever have. Well,
This is
I'll
what
tell
happens
it.
here.
Sure, this is real.
This is what happened here. We get some facts you know that nobody else has.
Yeah, I might know you would. But anyway, he had this great big truck that he took vegetables in from the farm to the marketplace on Saturdays in McMinnville, from out on the farms that we had grown, you know. And on Saturday night then, every once in a while, he'd take us to the Grand Ole Opry, and he would put 2 big benches down on either side of this great big truck, and we'd sit on those benches and had a ball and rode in, I guess it's 72 miles from McMinnville to Nashville.
Yeah, that's the most fun in the world, though.
That was like going around the world then.
Of course, you came here to look then when you were a little girl. How old were you then?
Well, I remember when I was like 9, 10, 11, and 12. And when I was 12 years old, I just remember really sitting there watching Anita Carter sing a song one night. And she was singing an Eddie Arnold song. And I sat there and I literally cried. And I punched Mom and I said, Mama, someday, I'm telling you, I really mean it now, I'm going to sing up there on that stage.
And you finally did it. How old were you when you first got to the Opry?
Dreams do come true. The
You
first
were
time I
young.
sang on the Grand Ole Opry, it was 1959, and I don't remember how old I was. See, if I tell you, you'll add it up.
No, I won't do it.
You'll know that I've grown up to be a kid.
You're getting prettier every day you live anyhow, so what do you
Well,
got to worry
thank you.
about?
I don't mind it then. It's okay. No, I'm having a ball. I really am.
Let me ask you this now. I've heard a lot of things about who influenced you the most and so forth in your career. Who were one of the people that influenced you the most? Was Jim Reeves in that?
Yes. Now, when you say influenced, do you mean on the style?
Who inspired you?
Who inspired me? Well, there were a lot of people that inspired me. Gee, I listened to Ernest Tubb. And this is when I was a kid now, listening to the Grand Ole Opry and everything. But then my real inspiration was from Patsy Cline, Jim Reeves. I always liked the smooth voices.
Dottie, let's take a look at a tape of you back in 1961 on your first appearance on the Grand Ole Opry.
I'll sail my ship along, though all my dreams are gone, drifting out across the ocean blue. I'll sail my ship along, though all my sails are torn, and when it starts to sink, then I'll blame you. I wrote a message to the wind to take back home to you, hoping you would hear my SOS. Well, maybe you would come back home, my darling, if you knew how much my aching heart is in distress. So I'll sail my ship alone, though all my dreams are gone, drifting out across the ocean blue. I'll sail my ship alone, though all my sails are torn, and when it starts to sink, then I'll blame you. I'll sail my ship alone, though all my dreams are gone, drifting out across the ocean blue. I'll sail my ship alone, though all my sails are torn, and when it starts to sink, then I'll blame you. Here comes more tears to cry. Here comes more heartaches by. Here comes my baby back again. Here comes more misery. Here comes old memories. Here again. My arms are open wide to let more hurt inside. Here comes my baby back again. He's sorry once again. Once more I'll understand. Here comes my baby back again. My arms are open wide to let more hurt inside. Here comes my baby back again. He's sorry once again. Once more I'll understand. Here comes my baby back again. Here comes my baby back again.
And that was Here Comes My Baby Back Again. You ought to have me on that with you.
No, I think you should record it. I really do. Why don't you?
That can be a man's song or a
Oh,
woman's.
yes.
Yeah, that's
Ray
good.
Price recorded it. Boots Randolph, you know,
Yeah.
with a sax.
Did you ever get any royalties on
Como.
that? Go down to the mailbox and pick that stuff up? That's a good
Well,
way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice, but
Now,
those kind of songs don't come along very often, but
and you say that just happened in a few minutes.
yeah.
How long did it take you to
Sometimes 10 minutes I wrote
write? 10
that.
minutes.
The melody and all. A lot of people, you know, write maybe the lyrics first and then the melody, or they write the melody and they have someone else put the lyrics to it. But it all comes together to me, or with me. I just sat down with my guitar and I played just enough to get in trouble, but
And you hadn't planned on that song, that particular
No.
song. Just the words happened to.
no,
Here
you know
comes
where I
my-
got the idea?
Yeah.
I'm standing waiting we had worked a gig in Kansas City, Missouri, worked 6 sets in a nightclub that night, sang everything I knew over and over, I guess. Anyway, it was about 3 in the morning, I guess, and we'd gone back to the hotel, my husband and I, and we're he's turning the key, and I'm standing there with my guitar in my hand, out of the case, and I looked down, and the welcome mat said, "Welcome home," and I thought, Holiday Inn, welcome home, huh? You know, and just from that, I walked in, sat down on the foot of the bed, and at first was, "Welcome home, baby," and then in just a second it was, "Here comes my baby back again." And in fact, Chet asked me where the melody came from, and I said, "I don't know."
You just, once in a while, you do a thing like that, and the melody's there anyhow. And
It's
you
almost
have no
like
choice but to do it just what hit your mind.
Right. It was almost like I had sang the song before.
And I also understand that you were one of the first women to ever win a Grammy, is that right?
That was the first. That was the first year they had that category.
Now, when you won the Grammy and so forth, and the first gal to do that, how did that influence your career?
Well, of course, it gave it a big boost. And now I had a little boy at the time. Now,
Yeah.
Shelley is next to the youngest. I have 3 sons and a daughter. And Shelley has 2 older brothers and then a younger brother.
Yeah.
So Dale was born in '62. The first year I moved to Nashville to really make it in showbiz, I get pregnant again. I was married now. Everything was okay. I have 4
nice.
children, and their father is Bill West. We were married 20 years.
Yeah.
So he's a fine steel guitar player, and still is. And he grew up to be a kid just like I did, too. But anyway, what was I saying? Anyway, Dale, I guess, he was born in '62 then, so he was just 3 or 4 years old when that happened.
That's right. You and I were
So-
in the same stable about that time, too, with Lucky Moeller.
Right.
And his crew. That's a tickle of death to make $300 in the day, weren't you?
I thought I'd never get up to that. I called my mom the first day I ever made $100. When I got $100 for that first date, I called her long distance. You know, that was something, too, to call long distance to McMinnville, you know, and from wherever it was, to tell her that I played a date for $100. And I started a song the other night, and it's almost finished, called Mama, You Wouldn't Believe It. Mama, if you could see me now, that's it. You wouldn't believe your eyes.
Writing is a very important part of your life, isn't it?
I need to get back to more of it.
Well, you get hung up in the business and you...
Yeah, just singing and traveling and touring so much. And I used to write a lot when I could tour and stay on my tour bus. But when I had to start flying, you can't sing out loud too much and write very well on the flight, you know. Now, Roger Miller used to. I've seen him do it, you know, but I can't do that. But
speaking of Roger Miller, you were with Tree, of course. I know that.
Tree Publishing Company.
And Roger was one of the guys. We have Buddy Killen comes up every once in a while and talks to us about
great guy.
People that he knows, you know. You're one of them, of course. But who was there when you were there?
He helped me to get started, in fact, and believed in my songwriting as far as my writing career. Roger Miller was one of my first teachers. I would say my first writer or songwriter teacher. And then Willie Nelson and Hank Cochran. And I used to cook home cooking for these guys, and they'd come over to the house and they'd have dinner, and then they'd sit around and I'd watch them write songs. And I was watching them on purpose and for real, you know, I was looking for good songs too, but I was also really learning how to write.
We'll be right back with Dottie West after this.
Oh, I'm so happy I'm a country girl.
Having a lot of country music awards and things like that, you won the most prestigious, now there's a good word, award that the advertising industry has to offer. That's the CLI Clio?
The Clio Award.
The Clio Award? Why do they call it that?
Well, I don't know why we call it a Grammy either, I guess, but anyway.
Well, a Grammy is a gramophone.
Well, that's true. Well, I don't know where the Clio. It's for the #1 commercial of the year.
Yeah, that's
great. And oh, it was wonderful. It was 2 years in a row. That little commercial, we wrote that at the supper table one night. I wrote it, and I say we. I wrote it with Billy Davies, who was producing the Coca-Cola commercials at the time, and probably still is. And it was really a lot of fun, you know. But that's only one of 15 that I did for Coke.
Yeah, no, but you know, that an award like that and a commercial like that must have done you a lot of good as an artist.
Well, it was another one of those stepping stones, and I'm looking for the next one.
We just happened to have a clip of you back in 1974, Dottie, singing Country Sunshine.
I was raised on country sunshine, green grass beneath my feet, running through fields of daisies, wading through the creek. Now I love you, please believe me, I wouldn't want you to ever leave me, but I was raised on country sunshine. I was raised on country sunshine. With the simple things, a Saturday night dance, a bottle of Coke, and the joy that the bluebird brings. Well, you love me and it's inviting to go where life is more exciting, but I was raised on country sunshine. And there's just something about the morning that makes each day a joy to see. And nighttime brings a peaceful feeling to rest inside of me. Now I love you, please believe me, and wouldn't want you to ever leave me, but I was raised on country sunshine. Yes, I love you, please believe me, and wouldn't want you to ever leave me, but I was raised on country sunshine. I was raised on
That was Country Sunshine by Dottie West, who sits over here on my right. Did that have anything to do with your career, the success of those commercials? Did you happen to meet, get acquainted with a new audience or anything?
Oh, sure. It crossed over into the pop charts because, you know, it's the only song that I've ever had that was demanded by the disc jockeys. I mean, I had disc jockeys writing me and calling me saying, make this into a song. You know, it was a commercial. And the disc jockeys were getting requests to play the commercial, so we had to make it into a song, which made me very happy. And the commercial itself was done in 13 countries.
Dottie, I've always loved you, and I love you more now that I've talked to you like this than I ever did before.
Thank you very much. I've loved you, too. I admire you so much, really.
Well, I admire you more than that. We've been talking with Dottie West. Join us again next time when she'll be back with us to tell us more about the Dottie West story.
Don't build for me no paper mansions that only stand until you've gone. You paint the nicest futures of anyone I know. You always leave me holding on to pretty words that glow. You build 1,000 mansions out of dreams that seem so strong, but they're always made of paper, not of stone. Don't build for me no paper mansions that I can never call my own. 'Cause love can live in paper mansions that only stand until you've gone. You've always been a dreamer, dear, and I'm a dreamer too. But I guess I've had
Yesteryear in Nashville, a journey into the past with the people who made country music history. And now here's your host, Archie Campbell.
She's been a successful entertainer, songwriter, and has recently become one of country music's most popular crossover acts. And we'll be right back to continue with part 2 of the story of the beautiful and amazing Dottie West right after this.
I was born a country girl.
My world is like a river, as dark as it is deep. Night after night, the past slips in and gathers on my sleeve. My days are just an endless stream of emptiness for me, filled only by the fleeting moments of your memory. Sweet memory.
Has your career changed a lot in the last, we say 20 years? It can't seem, it's not that long, is it?
It really
Isn't it
is, but
20
I
years?
can't believe it, you know. I would say that it really started. I started on the road professionally, really, in 1961. So it's been a while.
It's changed quite a bit, though, hasn't it, in the last 20 years?
And yet I see Shelley, my daughter, who is a new country singer now. I don't see her very much. I mean, it's not too different than...
I want y'all to put your Kodak on this now. Is that right there? Look at this picture now. Who is that on the front?
That's my Shelley. She was 9 years old.
Who?
Shelley West.
Is that Shelley? That's your little
my
daughter,
girl.
who is a grown girl now. And I'm going to turn you, I want you to take a look at this. Now that's Dottie and little Shelley a few years ago. And you can put your camera on Dottie, because I'm going to read something that she wrote, and I just want you to know what kind of serious writer she can be. So here it is. This won't take long.
I don't know exactly what this said, but I remember Chet asking me to write it. And I wanted Shelley on the cover because every mother's proud of their little girl, and I thought Shelley was the prettiest little girl in the world, you know, so I wanted her on my cover. And Chet named the album Country Girl, and then he asked me to write a song.
And, here,
so that's
and
how
here's what you wrote. Let me read it.
Okay.
And this is what you're saying. Shelley, we came here today because I thought you would like to see the place where I was born. I was born a country girl. I wanted to walk with you and talk with you and walk through the same fields that I used to walk through when I was a little girl like you. See you chase the butterflies that seem to be the very same ones I chased but never caught. And have you pick a bunch of wildflowers and bring them to me as I picked them for my mother many times. I want to run with you through these hills and through the woods where I used to play day after day, for soon you will be a young woman with dreams and plans of your own. And you'll probably do as I did, go to the city to carry out these dreams and plans. I hope they will all come true. Life is not a bed of roses. There'll be rainy days. Remember, there's a kind of peace and serenity here that you will find no other place. There's nothing more refreshing to the mind than a walk through these meadows